Hey everyone, welcome to our Make It Wednesday project. This week we are going to be making the pumpkin flip books. If you're not sure what that looks like, these are flip books that you can make different faces on and then mix and match like the different eyes and the noses and the mouths you can see there. They're really fun to make and play with once you get them all finished. So I'm going to go over what you need first here. Okay, so if you do have the kit that we gave out before, great. If you don't have the kit and you need to make stuff from home, you might have to do a little bit of tracing yourself here. But it doesn't really matter what size these things are as long as you make them all the same size. So first you will need a cardboard pumpkin, which is more like a oval. And then you need 6 pieces of cardstock. It doesn't really matter what color you've got, anything will work. If you want orange for pumpkins, that's great. I have these all printed out to match the same size as my cardboard pumpkin here. So if you have to draw them yourself, make sure that you make them the same size as that cardboard pumpkin. And then you can see these. You also need to make some dotted lines about 1/3 of the way down twice on your pumpkin, ovals, I guess. And then you would also make some spots over here where you're going to make the holes. And it's important that all of these are exactly the same. So I would suggest probably making one and then photocopying it if you can on some kind of copier or printer. So they line up really well, because if they don't line up very well, then your flip book might not work as well as you expected. And then you will also need, get the bag open here, 3 of these little binder rings. It doesn't really matter what size. I think these are the 1-inch size, but you can get bigger ones, not too small ones though. And then if you want a stem for your pumpkin, you'll also want to make a little cardboard stem that you can tape on there. If you don't want one, that's fine. Some other things you will need is a hole punch, an assortment of crayons or markers. I prefer markers for this project. I think they show up a little better. You need a scissors and Scotch tape and a pencil. And if you have stickers, that's great. If you want to decorate your book with stickers, you can do that, but it's not required that you have those. Okay, so we're gonna get started here. We'll just kind of go step by step and I'll do it along with you. Some of these steps take a little while to do, especially cutting out all 6 pumpkins that you have. So the first thing you're gonna do is cut out all 6 of these pieces of paper. And you'd want to cut around the outside, but leave this part alone for now, the lines in the middle. So go ahead and get started with that. And try to be as exact as you can on the lines. Now, if you're, well, you are watching this past Halloween. So if you don't really feel like making a pumpkin book, what you could do is maybe put these pumpkins on like do the same template, but do them on maybe red paper and green paper. You could make like a Santa flip book, or a snowman one would work really great actually, because you can do a whole bunch of different kinds of snowmen and faces instead. So maybe white would be your best bet there. But I wouldn't recommend using regular copy printer paper, because that gets bent easily and you're going to be flipping the pages back and forth quite a bit. You don't want them to get all bent up. I did have some people when we were first making this project put several sheets together and cut the circles so it doesn't take quite as long. That works fine as long as you keep them really well aligned, because if you get just a little bit off, then you're not going to be cutting on the black line anymore, and it might look kind of silly if you have this black line all over your pumpkin book. And onto the purple. If you decide to use black paper for any of your templates here, that is fine. And the black ink did show up when I printed it. But the one thing you'll have to do is probably use white crayons or neon crayons instead of marker, because it doesn't really show up very well on black. But on the first one I made, I had a black page and I made a black cat out of it, and that turned out really cool. Okay, 2 more. If you can see this, but yeah, you can see if you print on there pretty well. Shouldn't be too hard to see where you're going to cut. Okay, so now I have this lovely stack of ovals. And the next thing you can do is you're going to be cutting along the dashed lines that you made on each oval. And you can stack them if you want and cut multiple at a time, but I don't know, I just have trouble doing that, I guess. And I prefer to do them one at a time just so I don't mess up somewhere. And you will want to keep each pumpkin together. So now you've got 3 pieces to this one pumpkin. Keep these together in separate stacks so you don't mix up all the colors. And sometimes if you mix up the same color and they don't quite fit right when you're done later, it's not so good. While you're doing this monotonous cutting, you can be thinking about what kind of creatures would you like to make on these pumpkins, or snowmen, or whatever kind of book you want to make. That's kind of the cool part about this craft. You can do a different craft for different holidays. So if you think about it, whoa, my piece just flew away there. Okay. So these would actually make perfect Easter eggs, and doing different designs all over your Easter eggs and mixing and matching different designs. That might be a neat Easter egg gift for somebody if you're looking for something to make. All right, I've got all my stacks right there. We'll move on to step 3. Gotta find my hole punch. There it is. So you're gonna take your hole puncher. You want the ones that are just the plain circle, nothing fancy there. And you're gonna punch out all of these little black holes. It helps to know where it is if you kind of, oh, it's hard to show you. You can kind of gently press down to see where the hole is gonna be with your hole punch before you push it all the way through. And try to keep them in stacks too when you're done. It's actually a lot quicker than cutting them out. Two more to go. Black one's a little harder to see. And one important thing, your holes that you marked should be far enough away from the edge that you don't get too close and then the book will rip. But either way, try not to get too close to that edge, because if you get too close, like this one almost got a little bit too close there, it can easily rip when you're flipping the pages. All right, so next we're going to take our cardboard pumpkin here and pick one of your cardboard or your cardstock pumpkins that you've already cut out and lay the pieces on it. I'm going to turn this down here so you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to, let's see, for you, if I want to do it upside down, you want the holes on the left side. So line it up pretty well there, and then you're going to take your pencil and mark where those circles are, kind of like you're filling in those test bubbles, school. Okay, so when you take it off, you've got the 3 holes. Now this is kind of a tricky part, which you might need an adult to help you with, because even I struggle with enough strength to get this through. I'm gonna punch holes on your cardboard here. The trick is just getting it on there half the time. Line up over the hole, and then you're gonna have to squeeze it really hard. Ugh. And it'll make a big popping noise too when you do that, especially if you get this nice thick cardboard. That's what you probably want, but that also makes it harder to punch through there. Get your workout for today. Okay. Can't get this one. All right. Whew. My hand hurts already. Okay. So now that you've done all this hard work on this cardboard, you're going to put it aside and not worry about it for a little while. Next up is the really fun part, where you're going to be laying out your different colors of pumpkins and drawing the faces on them. So if you look at the screen this way, you want to make sure that you're drawing on them with the circles on the left side. So I actually have to turn this around so I can make things the right side up. But if you end up drawing with them on the right side, you're going to have them on backwards. So I'll just do some quick ones here. Take all the time you need on yours if you want to make them really fancy, or you can make them really simple. Let's see. So for this first one, I'll just do the regular jack-o'-lantern kind of pumpkin. Move it down just a little more for you. And the crazier you make them, the more fun the book is, I think. This one's kind of plain, but it's really fun when you get the different crazy faces on there. For one of the books I made, I did different pumpkins, and then I did a black cat. And then for the green one, I did Frankenstein. And for the purple one, I did a vampire. And that was really fun to make those creatures. Okay. Let's see. I'll do the purple one next here. I think I'll do 3 of them. And then since you'll be doing 6, or I guess you can do however many you want, but I will let you pause the recording and do whatever you would like with those. Take more time. See. I'm going to just make a silly kind of monster here. Oh, well, that marker doesn't work very well at all. Try a different one. Give him some crazy eyes and some eyelashes. And a funny nose. Let's see, what kind of mouth? I wonder if red will show up on here. Ooh. Like he's a screaming monster. And I'll give my monster some green dots. Kind of looks like he has the chicken pox. Okay, that's pretty good. And do one more. I'm gonna do green one here. Okay. Remember to keep your holes on the left side. When you're looking at it, it looks like it's on the right, but here to you, it's the left side. I will do. What other creatures are there for Halloween? I'm gonna make some kind of green. Oh, let's make like a ghost person here. Oh, my markers aren't working very well today. Maybe I'll just do a scary kind of face. Good way to make any face look scary is to make the eyebrows kind of slanted. This is a chance for you to really let your creative artist side come out. And if you've got your stickers, you can be using your stickers on these faces as well. It'd be fun to use like different circle shapes or stars. Especially if you've got Halloween stickers, that'd be perfect. Let's see, his nose is just going to be 2 little dots. And he's going to have a really wavy face. Scary. And then the tongue sticking out. Kind of looks like one of those Ninja Turtles. Okay, let me see. What else do we want on there? I'll give him a bit of hair at the top. Some bushy eyebrows. Okay. So once you're finished with all 6 of your different pumpkins, move on to the next step here. Take the cardboard pumpkin that you struggled to punch the holes through and the stem that you created, and you want to tape it on the back. And how do you know what's the back? Well, you're going to want these holes on the left side again. So flip it over and whoop. I found that packing tape actually works the best for this part, but I didn't grab any. So if you have packing tape, choose that option. If you don't, just go with the regular Scotch tape or maybe even some glue. Just tape it on the back there. Okay. Now, you are going to take each set of your cut out templates and stack them on the pumpkin. So I'll show you kind of what I mean here. We want to line up all these holes. And of course, these would already be colored in. And you can put them in any order that you like. Oh. Just as long as you have the all one color on there at a time. So next I'll do an orange one. And the great thing about this project too is if you don't feel like drawing them all today, you could go draw some more tomorrow or next week. Don't have to draw them all before you assemble the whole thing. All right, so I'm gonna do my purple one. There we go. And I'll do my green one next. And then your orange one. Okay. So the holes probably won't line up exactly the way you want them to, but we will make it work. Okay, the last step is to take your binder rings here and open them up. And I found it easiest to thread them through one hole at a time. So just get it through one layer at a time here until you make it all the way to the cardboard. And then poke the ring through and bring it up so that you can clamp it back together. There we go. And do the same thing for the other two. Maybe having 2 people doing this might help. It's a little tricky. Well, little tricky, more like a lot tricky for this one. There we go. Okay, last one. You need to kind of stack them like that. That works pretty well, actually. Okay. All right, so there you go. So your book is now complete, which is pretty awesome. Now, one thing you're probably going to notice right away when you start is they fall down. They kind of fall all over the place, but the easiest way to get them back the way you want them is hold it by the end that has the rings and kind of, oh, you can't really see what I'm doing here. Hold it by the end that has the rings and shake it down. That kind of gets them all back in line so you can Whoop. The stem just fell off. See, I need that packing tape. Okay. It helps you kind of get them all back in line. All right. Now the fun part, to give it to your friends, and they can try to make the different faces. So we can do these eyes and this nose and I like the first mouth the best. Do that, or I could do like this. You can make all kinds of fun, crazy combinations. Your only limit is your imagination. So, back up here. All right. Well, I hope you had a great time making our pumpkin flip books today. Hope they turned out great for you. And you can have a lot of fun making them for different holidays and showing them to your friends and making cool combinations with your flip books. So, hope you all have a great day and that you had fun today. We'll see you next time.